what's in yourself that makes you happy or unhappy. Politeness is the first thing people lose once they get the power. If your life is worth thinking about, it is worth writing about. I never fail. It's just that the people around me succeed more than I. A real scientist solves problems, not wails that they are unsolvable. Everything that is done in this world is done by hope. Generally in war, the best policy is to take a state intact. To ruin it is inferior to this. Nothing happens until something moves. The space under the sky is occupied by all things in their unity. Nature is pleased with simplicity, and nature is no dummy. In order to be yourself, you must first know who you are. Success awaits those who steadfastly commit to any requisite sacrifice. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Go to heaven for the climate and hell for the company. Memory can make a thing seem to have been much more than it was. The storm is what they threw at me. The hurricane is what I became. We need to renew ourselves often. Even temples need renovation. It's important in life. If you don't give a shit, it can help you a lot. Weak leadership can wreck the soundest strategy. Stop trying to create a new you around the same old people. Know thyself, know thy enemy. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. Growing up is losing some illusions in order to acquire others. Don't ever take a fence down until you know why it was put up. Pretend to be weak so your enemy may grow arrogant. Failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. Life happens, shit happens, and it happens a lot, to a lot of people. Être dans le vent, c'est avoir le destin des feuilles mortes. Moods can be contagious. Don't catch or spread a bad mood. I'd rather be an optimist and a fool than a pessimist, and right. Maybe everyone can live beyond what they're capable of. To be wealthy and honored in an unjust society is a disgrace. I was never aware of any other option but to question everything. Not every instance requires a response. Truth resides silently in the seat of power. Nothing makes a person happier than having a happy heart. Appear at points which the enemy must hasten to defend. March swiftly to places where you are not expected. Life is fragile. We're not guaranteed a tomorrow, so give it everything you've got. I'd rather hear an ugly truth rather than an obscure lie. Fear is the polio of the soul, which prevents our walking by faith. Positive expectations are the mark of the superior personality. A conscious human is driven by their conscience, not popular opinion. There are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. Success, for most people, requires unlearning as much as learning. He who requires much from himself and little from others will keep himself from being the object of resentment. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. Appreciate the moment of a first kiss. It may be the last time you own your heart. Amid the turmoil and tumult of battle, there may be seeming disorder, and yet no real disorder at all. They laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at them because they're all the same. I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university. The expert in anything was once a beginner. Time bows to authentic commitment, and it stretches to accommodate it. Fear defeats more people than any other one thing in the world. Don't let the fear of losing them keep you from loving them. Life is short. Live it. Love is rare. Grab it. Anger is bad. Dump it. Fear is awful. Face it. Memories are sweet. Cherish them. In the desire to control others, we lose control over ourselves. I've never had anyone's approval, so I've learned to live without it. Gratitude creates hope, and hope activates the law of attraction. Great results can be achieved with small forces. The more you face challenges, the less you fear them. Nobody ever lives their life all the way up, except bullfighters. Done is better than perfect. When a wise man points at the moon, the imbecile examines the finger. In making tactical dispositions, the highest pitch you can attain is to conceal them. When you say I and my too much, you lose the capacity to understand the we and our. Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. Changing is what people do when they have no options left. Show me that I am everywhere, and get me home for tea. A tiny change today brings a dramatically different tomorrow. That is all very senseless, but this senselessness has a pretty mouth, and it smiles. Without local guides, your enemy employs the land as a weapon against you. I believe in looking reality straight in the eye and denying it. Some people could look at a mud puddle and see an ocean with ships. There is nothing more important than your eternal salvation. Serious thinkers are few, and the world is ruled by crude ideas. Keep going. It's not as difficult as you feel it is. Don't give up. Conformity to the present is invisibility to the future. Everything has to be all right. Maybe not today, but eventually. Be willing to leave the ground behind if you want to fly. The longer we dwell on our misfortunes, the greater is their power to harm us. I don't think there's anything wrong with telling the truth. I know it isn't fashionable. Life, unfortunately, doesn't seem to care what we want. All is mystery, but he is a slave who will not struggle to penetrate the dark veil. There is no wealth like knowledge, no poverty like ignorance. When the going gets weird, the weird turn professional. Many things are not as they seem. The worst things in life never are. The best knowledge is knowing yourself and your inner being. When you take control of your attitude, you take control of your life. Silence is nice to have if you wanted it, but maddening if you didn't. Without knowing the force of words, it is impossible to know more. Our fingerprints don't fade from the lives we've touched. Always be friendly, always be kind, like the most beautiful flower that you can find. If at first you don't succeed, destroy all evidence that you've tried. I'm always doing that, which I cannot do, in order that I may learn how to do it. All the world is made of faith and trust and pixie dust. Everything, no matter how beautiful, is only with us for a while. What we can change is our perceptions, which have the effect of changing everything. Freedom is the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. Ability will never catch up with the demand for it. You will never know how high you can climb until you reach the top. Sometimes the best of God's gifts arrive by the shattering of all the window panes. Faced with what is right, to leave it undone shows a lack of courage.